Stop for just a moment, my child, before you carry this day any further, before you pick the weight back up and put the steady face on for everyone who is watching. Stop. Sit down with me here for a little while. There is no one to perform for in this room. It is only you and me now. And I have something I have been waiting to say to you. You did not land on these words by accident. I know it feels like you are simply scrolling, simply passing the time, simply trying to quiet the noise in your chest. But I brought you here. Something in you has been searching for a voice that would not flinch when it saw the whole truth of where you are. So stay. Do not get up yet. What I want to say to you can change the way you carry tonight and the way you wake into tomorrow. I know where you are standing. I know you are standing at the beginning again. Not the beginning you wanted, not the fresh, hopeful beginning of someone young, with open road ahead and nothing yet lost. This is the other kind of beginning, the kind that comes after the thing fell apart, after the doors closed, after the years you poured in turned to smoke in your hands, and you found yourself standing in the wreckage of a life you thought was built to last, holding almost nothing. I was there in the room when it emptied out. I saw you stand in the middle of that space where so much used to be, and I heard the silence of it press against you. The walls that once held your whole life, gone bare. The boxes, the echo your footsteps made in a place that used to be full. You stood there and you thought, how did it come to this? How am I here, at this age, with this little, starting over from the ground? I watched the day it became final. 2. The day there was no more fighting it, no more hoping the phone would ring with a different answer, no more pretending the tide might turn. I watched you sign the thing, or hand over the keys, or pack the last box, and walk away from what you had given years of your life to. And I saw that you did not cry where anyone could see. You held it until you were alone, and then you let it come. And you thought no one was there for it. But I was there for it. I caught every tear that fell in that car, in that empty hallway, in the dark where you thought you were grieving alone. I was there at the kitchen table too late, when the house had gone quiet, and you finally let yourself add it up. You took out what was left, and you counted it, and the number was too small. So you counted it again, slower, as though the second time it might come out kinder. It did not. And you sat with that number in the dark and felt the floor of your life give way beneath you, because you did not know how a person rebuilds from a number that small. I heard the thoughts you did not say out loud, the ones that come at 3 in the morning and stand at the foot of the bed. It is too late for me. Everyone else is years ahead, and I am back at the start with empty hands. I am too old to begin again. There is not enough time left, not enough strength left, not enough of me left to build a second time what took a lifetime to build the first. And there is a deeper thing under even that, my child, a thing you have barely let yourself name out loud. For years, you knew who you were. You were the one who provided, the one who built, the one others leaned on, the steady one with the answers, the shoulder the family rested against. So much of how you understood your own self was woven into what you had made with your hands. And when it fell, it did not only take the things, it took the picture you had of yourself. You look in the mirror now, and you are not entirely sure who is looking back. Because the person you used to be was defined by what is no longer there. That is its own kind of grief, a quiet one, and almost no one around you sees it. They see the lost house. They do not see that you feel as though you lost your very self in the rubble. And I know how the comparison cuts you, deep and clean, like a blade you never see coming. You watch the people around you move forward. Their lives seem to roll on, steady, climbing, while yours came all the way back down to the bottom of the hill. You see their good news, and you smile, and you tell them you are happy for them. And you are, and yet something inside you quietly buckles, because they are so far ahead, and you are starting over from the dirt. You did not say it to anyone, but I heard it. I heard you ask, in the smallest and most tired voice you have, why them and not me? Why must I begin again at this point in my life with so little when everyone else seems to simply keep going? And I know there is a fear underneath your fear, one that frightens you even more than your own survival. It is the faces of the ones who depend on you, the people you were supposed to provide for, to protect, to keep steady. You lie awake not only for yourself, but for them, wondering how you will look them in the eye, wondering whether you have failed the very people you love most. That fear has a particular weight, my child, because it is born of love, and I see exactly how heavy it is on you. You would carry any burden gladly if it fell only on you. It is the thought of it touching them that breaks you, and your body knows it too. I have watched the toll this has taken on more than your heart. The shoulders that will not unclench, the sleep that comes late and leaves early, the mornings when you wake before the alarm and the dread arrives before you are even fully conscious, that heavy remembering of where you are, before you have so much as set your feet on the floor, the way exhaustion has settled into your bones, not the kind that a night of rest can mend, but the deep, grinding tiredness of a person who has been bracing against the next blow for a very long time. I see all of it. None of it is hidden from me, and none of it makes me love you 1 ounce less. And I saw the shame, my child. That is the part you have shown no one. The phone you let ring because you could not bear to explain the fall one more time. The conversations you rehearse and re-rehearse, trying to find a way to say what happened that does not make you sound like a failure. The smile you wear when someone asks how you are doing, while underneath you are quietly doing the math on whether you will make it through the month. You have been so busy holding the face together that no one has seen the person behind it. But I have. I have seen you, and I did not look away. So before I say anything else, hear this first. You are not alone in that emptied-out room. You were never alone in it. I have not left you, and I am not going to. I am here, in the wreckage, with you, not waiting on the far side of it for you to fix yourself before I will come near. Here, now, in the middle of the little you have left. And I know there is a question you have been afraid to ask me, perhaps afraid to even let yourself think too loudly. Where were you Where were you when it all came down? If you saw it, if you loved me, why did you not stop it? I am not angry at the question, my child. I have heard it from the most faithful hearts that ever lived, from people I loved dearly, asked through tears in the worst hours of their lives. So let me answer you, gently. I do not always stop the storm, but I have never once been absent from it. I was not far off, watching from a distance while you went under. I was in the water with you when you could not feel me. It was not because I had left. It was because the grief was so loud that it drowned out everything, even the sound of me right beside you. I do not promise you a life with no collapse. I promise you something better and truer, that there is no collapse deep enough to put you beyond my reach. I was there. I am here. And I am not going anywhere. Let me tell you the truth about that little, my child, because the enemy of your soul has been whispering a lie over it. And I want to silence that lie tonight. The lie says you are starting from nothing. The lie says everything that mattered is gone, and what remains is too small to matter. But you are not starting from nothing. You are starting from me. And anything that begins with me has never, in all of history, stayed small for long. You see, the world taught you to measure a life by what you can stack up and point to. The house, the savings, the title, the years of climbing. And so when the stack came down, it felt as though your whole self came down with it. But I never measured you by the stack. I have always measured you by something the locust cannot eat, and the market cannot take, and no collapse can touch. I measured you by the fact that you are mine. That was true when you were full, and it is just as true now that your hands are empty. Nothing that fell changed the one thing that was ever holding you. Look back with me for a moment, but only for a moment, because I am going to ask you to stop looking back after this. Long ago, I spoke to a people who had lost everything. Their city was rubble. Their future looked like ash. And into that ruin, I said something I want you to hear, as if I am saying it to you tonight. Because I am. I said, "Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness, and rivers in the desert." Sit with those words a moment, my child. A way in the wilderness. Not a way around it, but a way through it, made by my own hand in the very place you thought was impassable. You have been staring at the ground in front of you, seeing only sand, only barrenness, only a hard country with no road across it. But I am the one who lays roads where there were none, and rivers in the desert, water in the driest place you know. I do not bring my provision only to the green and easy valleys. I bring it to the wasteland, because the wasteland is exactly where my people most need it, and exactly where my power is most clearly seen. The desert you are standing in is not evidence that I have abandoned you. It is the very place I have chosen to show you what I can do. Hear what I am telling you, my child. I do not only restore the old thing, I do a new thing. I am not limited to rebuilding the exact life that fell. I make ways where there is no way, paths through wilderness that has never seen a footprint, rivers in a desert so dry you had stopped believing water could come. The very place you are calling the end, I am calling the ground where the new thing springs up. You keep staring behind you at what was lost. I am asking you to turn around, because the new thing is in front of you, and it is already beginning to break through the soil, whether or not you can see it yet. You think your best chapter is behind you. I want to tell you about a man who thought the same and was wrong. Think of Job. There was a man who had everything a life could hold. A great house, children around his table, wealth that stretched as far as the eye could follow. And then, in a span of days, all of it was stripped away. His children, gone. His wealth, gone. His health, gone. He ended up sitting in ashes, scraping his own sores, so far down that the people closest to him assumed he was finished, and told him so. Everyone who looked at Job saw a man at the end, a man with nothing left to begin again with. But they were not the ones writing the story. I was. And here is what I want you to sit with. My child, Job did not get his restoration the very next morning. The turning did not come the moment he hit the bottom. He sat in those ashes a long while. He listened to friends who looked at his ruin and decided they understood it, who told him his collapse must somehow be his own fault, who piled the weight of their judgment onto a man already crushed beneath all he had lost. He had long nights with no answers. He asked me hard and honest questions. And for a long stretch he heard what felt like only silence in return. I tell you this so you will know something. The slowness of your own rebuilding is not a sign that I have forgotten you. Job's latter end was greater than his beginning, but it came through the waiting, not instead of it. The ashes were not skipped over. They were the very place where the new thing was being prepared, quietly, in the dark, in the long middle where he could not yet see a single sign of it. Your waiting is not wasted either. I am working in the part of the story you cannot see yet. And when the long darkness had done its slow work, here is what my own word records. The Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. And then, so the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. The latter end, more than the beginning. Do you hear it, my child? The part of his life that came after the ruin was greater than the part that came before it. The collapse was not the last word over Job, and it is not the last word over you. I am not in the habit of letting the wreckage have the final say. The world looks at the ashes and reads the ending. I look at the ashes and see the soil. And it was not only Job's wealth that I restored. Hear this, because I think it touches the loneliness in you. When the turning finally came, my word records that all his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came to him again, and sat at his table, and ate bread with him, and comforted him over all that he had suffered. The very people who had kept their distance in his ruin came back into his life. I tell you this, not so you will fix your hope on which people return and which do not, but so you will know that I am a God who restores more than possessions. I restore tables. I restore belonging. I restore the warmth of being surrounded again by people who love you. The isolation you feel tonight is not the permanent shape of your life. It is a season, and seasons, by my hand, turn. Now hear me carefully, because I will not lie to you the way the world lies. I am not telling you to count up Job's cattle and expect the same sum in your bank by a certain morning. That is not a promise. That is a trick. And I do not deal in tricks. What I am telling you is the truth about who I am. I am a God who restores. I am a God whose mercies do not run out, but are new every single morning. I am a God for whom a person's latter end can be richer, deeper, and more full of meaning than anything that came before. Even when the form it takes is nothing you would have predicted. That is not a slot machine. That is my character. And my character does not collapse, no matter what falls around you. If you are still with me, my child, let me say one quiet thing before we go on. If these words are reaching something in you, do not let them slip away into the noise. Stay a little longer with me. And if it would help you to hear my voice like this again, you can follow along, so that on the next hard night, you do not have to search for it. I am not asking you for anything. I am only inviting you to keep this nearness close, because you are going to need it, and I want it within your reach. Now, let me come close to the fear that is loudest of all, the one underneath the empty room and the small number and the sleepless math. The fear that says, "But how will I even survive? How will I eat and pay what must be paid, and keep a roof when I am beginning with so little?" I know that fear by name, because I spoke to it directly when I walked among my people. I sat on a hillside and looked into the faces of people who did not know how they would make it. And I said, "Take no thought," saying, "What shall we eat?" or "What shall we drink?" or "Wherewithal shall we be clothed?" For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. Read that again, slowly, my child, and let it land where the fear lives. Your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need. I am not blind to your need. I am not far off and indifferent while you panic over the bills. I know exactly what you need, down to the smallest thing, and I knew it before you ever counted it at that table. The provision is not your burden to carry alone in the dark. Provision is my concern. I have been feeding the birds of the air since before you were born, and not one of them keeps a savings account, and not one of them has gone unfed under my watch. Are you not worth more to me than they? And I did not stop at the birds. I pointed them to the lilies of the field, to how they grow, how they neither toil nor spin, and yet I clothe them in a glory greater than the richest king in all his finest robes ever wore. If I lavish such tender care on a flower that opens in the morning and is gone by evening, how much more will I care for you, my child, who are mine, who will outlast every field and every fading season. The fear keeps insisting that you must figure out the whole of your survival by yourself, tonight, all at once, or it simply will not come. But your survival was never meant to rest on your shoulders alone. You do the next faithful thing you can, one honest day at a time, and you leave the rest in the hands of the one who has never once, in all of time, failed to feed and clothe what belongs to him. And then I told them where to put the weight of all that fear. I said, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." I did not say, "Solve the whole future tonight." I did not say, "See the entire road before you take a step." I said, "Seek me first. Walk close to me. Keep your heart turned toward what is good and true. And the rest, the food and the covering and the daily provision, leave that in my hands, where it has always belonged." Do you see the difference I was drawing, my child? I said the nations, the people who do not know me, spend themselves chasing after these things, striving and grasping and never resting, because they believe it all depends on them alone. And so the fear never lets them go. But you are not one of them. You have a father, and a child with a good father does not lie awake calculating whether there will be bread on the table. The child simply trusts that the one who loves them has already seen to it. I am asking you to come back to that place of trust, not because the need is not real, but because the need was never yours to carry alone. Lay the frantic striving down. Trade it for the quieter, harder, better work of trusting me one day at a time. So here is the wisdom I want to put into your hands tonight, my child. Because I do not only want to comfort you, I want to give you something to live by when you set this down and have to face the morning. Do not try to rebuild the whole mountain today. You are looking at the entire distance between this empty room and a life made whole again, and the size of it is crushing you. But I never asked you to cross the whole wilderness in one stride. I gave my people bread one morning at a time in the desert, enough for the day. And when they tried to hoard tomorrow's portion, it spoiled. I did that on purpose, to teach them, and to teach you to trust me one day at a time. So do not carry tomorrow's weight tonight. Tomorrow has its own portion, and I will meet you in it when it comes. Tonight, you only need enough strength for tonight, and that I will give you. I gave my people in the wilderness exactly enough for the day they were in, and when the next day came, there was new bread waiting on the ground, fresh, before they had even risen. I never let them carry a week of provision at once, because I wanted them to learn to trust me in the only place trust is ever really learned, which is one day at a time. I am teaching you the same gentle lesson now. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You only need to take the step that is lit and let go of the old picture. My child, I know you are grieving the life that fell, and grief is right and good, and you may grieve as long as you need to. But there will come a morning when the grip you have on what was lost is the very thing keeping your hands too full to receive what I am bringing. You keep trying to put the former things back exactly as they were. I am trying to do a new thing. At some point, the kindest thing you can do for the life ahead of you is to open your hands and stop trying to rebuild the past, and let me build the new. And do not carry this alone, my child. The shame has told you to hide, to let the phone ring, to keep the smile fixed and the truth buried. But I did not make you to bear ruin in isolation. I placed people around you on purpose. There are those who love you and would not flinch at the truth if you let them near it. There is a church, a gathering of my people, who are meant to carry one another. Let one safe person see the real number. Let one honest conversation break the long silence. You were never meant to start over with no one. Reach for the hands I have put within your reach. That is not weakness. That is the very way I designed your healing to come. And hear this, my child, for it speaks straight to that deeper grief. The loss of who you thought you were. You are not what you built. You never were. The house, the title, the savings, the standing you had in the eyes of others, those were things you held in your hands, not the person you are in your soul. The one I made is still entirely here, untouched by the collapse, whole and known and precious in my sight. Your worth was never in the stack. And so the stack coming down did not lower your worth by a single inch. Begin to root your sense of yourself in something that cannot be repossessed, cannot crash, cannot be eaten by any locust or swept away in any fall. Root it here, in this. You are mine. I do not make things of no value, and I do not love you for your usefulness, or your success, or the size of what you can provide. I love you simply because you are my own, the work of my own hands. Start there, and the life you rebuild will stand on a foundation that nothing on this earth has the power to shake. And do not despise the smallness of the beginning, my child. I know the first steps will look like nothing next to what you once had. The first small income after a great loss can feel almost insulting, a reminder of how far you have fallen. But do not measure the seed against the tree that was cut down. Measure it against what it will become. The mightiest things I have ever grown began as something so small that the world would have stepped over it without a glance. I have never been ashamed of small beginnings, and you must not be either. Tend the little that is in your hands today with faithfulness and without contempt, and watch what I will do with it over time. What looks like nothing in your palm tonight is exactly the kind of thing I love to multiply. Before I tell you that last thing, my child, let me say this gently. You have carried so much of this in silence, and silence has a way of convincing you that you are the only one in the wreckage. You are not. There are others, right now, sitting where you are sitting, beginning again from almost nothing, wondering if anyone sees. If you are willing, when these words are done, leave one honest line below for them and for me. Tell us what you are starting over from tonight. Not for show, not for anyone to fix, but so that those who are walking this same hard road can carry one another in prayer. And none of you has to feel so alone in it. I gather the prayers of my people. Not one of them falls to the ground unheard. There is one more thing I would have you hear, the deepest comfort of all, and I have saved it for last. You are grieving the years, not just the money and the house, but the years, the time you feel you wasted, the seasons that were eaten by the thing that fell, the decade that now feels like loss. And the cruelest lie of all whispers that those years are simply gone, that you can never get that time back, that you will run out of life before you can recover what was taken. But long ago, I made a promise to a people who had watched everything they planted be devoured, who stood over ruined fields and grieved years of loss. And I said to them, and I say it now to you, I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten. I will restore the years, my child, not only the things, the years. Only I can do that, because only I stand outside of time, and only I can take what looks like wasted years and weave them into something so full of meaning that the latter end outweighs the beginning. The locust ate, yes, but I am greater than the locust, and I am not finished with you. The time you mourn as lost is not lost to me. In my hands, even the eaten years become seed. And let me tell you how I will carry you through the long work of rebuilding. Because I know you are afraid the strength will give out before the work is done. I will not hand you the whole of it at once. I will meet you each morning with mercy made new for that day. The compassion I pour over you does not get used up. It does not wear thin the longer your hard season stretches on. Every single dawn, it is fresh again, enough for that day's portion of the climb. You will not wake one morning to find that I have run dry, or that my patience with you has finally been spent. My faithfulness toward you is far too great for that. So you do not need a whole year's worth of strength tonight. You need only to trust that when tomorrow comes, the mercy for tomorrow will already be there, waiting at your door before you have even opened your eyes. So lift your head, my beloved. I know how tired you are. I know the size of what you are facing, and I am not asking you to feel strong tonight. I am only asking you to lean the whole weight of your weariness on me, and let me be the strength you do not have. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from me. And I have a long, unbroken history of taking people who had nothing left and writing their best chapter after the ruin, not before it. My mercies toward you are new this morning, and they will be new again the next and the next, for as long as you live. Not one of them will fail. Begin again, my child. Small. One honest morning, one step into the wilderness where I have already gone ahead of you to make the way. You will not walk it alone. I am with you in the empty room. I am with you at the table. I am with you in the rebuilding, and I will be with you when you look back one day from a life you cannot yet imagine, and finally understand that the ground you called the end was where I began the new thing. Rest now. Put the math down. Put the shame down. Put the whole crushing future down, just for tonight. And let it be enough that you are held and seen and not alone, and deeply, unshakably loved. You do not have to solve your life before you close your eyes tonight. You do not have to have the answer, or the plan, or the proof that it will all work out. You only have to let yourself be carried for these few hours by the one who has been carrying you all along, even on the nights you felt most alone. Lay it all down at my feet. I am strong enough for the part you cannot hold. The peace that the world cannot give, and the world cannot take, I give to you tonight. Go gently, begin softly, and know all the way down in the deepest part of you that the one who made you is also the one rebuilding you, and that I do not abandon the work of my own hands. I have never started something in you that I will not finish. So when you wake tomorrow, and the dread tries to arrive before your feet touch the floor, I want you to remember what I have told you tonight. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from me. You are not too late. You are exactly where my mercy meets you, and my mercy is new this morning. You are not alone. I am in the empty room, and I am at the table, and I will be beside you in every small step of the rebuilding. And you are not finished. The collapse was not the last chapter. The latter end, in my hands, can be greater than the beginning, and I am not yet done writing yours. Lift your eyes, my beloved. The locust does not get the last word. I do. And the word I speak over your life tonight is not loss, and not ruin, and not too late. The word I speak over you is new. Rest in that, my child. I am with you. I am with you. I am with you.